the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a quorum. This is a study session. So, where's my agenda? Do we have any public comment?
Was there one out
Oh,
there?
here. Need one? Here. I was sitting here asleep at the switch. Hi, guys.
Bird.
Public comment.
I won't take much of your time. I stopped to get a ballot for my son who's out of town last week and noticed your agenda was up today in the clerk's office. So, and today I turned his ballot in, so he did vote. But hammering has not gone away yet, you know, and I just wanted to encourage you not to enter into any kind of contracts, be it road, anything with them, until we get them chased out. I don't want them encouraged in any manner. I think you know that, and that's about all I have to say.
Where are you at on that right now? Is it still in the court system, or?
He knows more about it than I do.
Okay.
17th, there'll be a, I don't know what it is, but there will be the courthouse will be full, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the chief judge is hearing this issue, I think, on that date.
I see.
Craig DeArmond.
Yeah, we noticed a lot of lawsuits that Ameren files. Is that protocol? Is that the way they do it? I don't understand. I've been looking at the paper. There's been, what, 20 to 30 lawsuits filed against the property owners. Is that how they do that for the eminent domain?
Right.
Okay, I didn't know.
And then there have been some settled. Some
Yeah,
of the
that-
landowners are
yeah.
settling.
Yeah, I don't know what the percentage is.
It's small.
It's a small percentage. I think it was maybe 17%. I'm not
I don't even
positive that in my middle.
But then there's been a countersuit by landowners,
That's
what
what
you read in the paper.
That's what the judge is going to hear.
Right, whether they can proceed. And then, of course, that'll probably be appealed at that point also, whatever
No
the
doubt.
judge decides.
Either way, it'll be appealed.
And
And
it's
then
not,
the circuit court, or the appellate court will decide at that point.
do they have a set fee that they pay the landowners to come across their land? That's
No, that, the court will decide that,
Okay,
not
that's-
whether they're going, if they're allowed to move forward with the eminent domain, once it's cleared all the hurdles. It's not whether they take the ground or not, it's what they pay for the ground.
They haven't reached eminent domain yet.
But when they do, yeah, they have not.
I don't
Okay.
think that they will. But then,
That's what this.
that's why
court
they have
hearings-
lawyers. Who knows what they'll do.
Yeah. Well, we've been against it all along.
In
Come to
every
find-
aspect, not only roads, every place else you turn. There's no telling what they'll try to throw at you.
Yeah.
Because should it prevail and erection start, that's only a part of it. The bad thing will be, should there be a storm tear it up, if it were built, then they go in, they're not gonna ask for which road to use, they'll want it back on. So there's more than just meets the eye in the erection say. And I guess I'll plead to you and everyone else, stop spending.
Yeah.
I know you've heard that before.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll proceed with the meeting. Did you have anything that you wanted to say at this point?
I know, I think during committee, weren't we gonna
Right.
talk about?
I just
No
wanted to
public
make sure.
comment.
Andy?
Couple quick things. They are in the process, and maybe as of today, are done putting the pans underneath the air handling units. They did run into one problem with the one above the judge's chambers. They went to lift it up to put the secondary pan under, and the bottom came out of the unit. So what kept it from leaking this summer, I don't know. But so just keep in mind, next year, that may be something we need to look at, is replacing that unit, which, because the refrigerant, the government changed the refrigerant, would mean we're changing the outside unit and the air handling unit at the same time, so we'll just have to see what happens there. Other than that, they should have the pans done this week.
So they haven't really, I was up there last week, a couple of days, in probation. Then they have not started putting the ceilings back in
No,
or anything
not
like
yet.
that?
They
over
have
that
to
side?
move those refrigeration lines and get rid of the old drain
So
lines.
the lines aren't, they're.
Not quite, not yet. They want to get the pans and everything
Everything,
in,
all that
and
is
that all
set.
done, and then they're gonna take the rest out and put that stuff. So that should go on this week.
And we're doing the pumps on all those?
Say that again.
The pumps
Yeah.
that pump the water out so we don't get mold and blockage?
Right, they wanna get all that entire system put in, and then they'll start taking the, and I think this should be pretty much done with, should be either done to, like today, either Friday or today, or the next day or so be done with that.
Was Don doing the work?
Don's doing the work. That's
Dan,
I have anything,
wanna,
everything's run fine.
anything, report on your campaign or anything?
Well, I've had 150 votes, and I have Pete Pendleton, my Secretary of State, and Stu Metcalf, my Attorney General.
You know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
So working on a cabinet.
Have you seen a copy of the poster, the campaign poster?
I'm not sure I've seen the poster.
Haven't seen any signs around town yet.
That probably should go in the paper.
Yes, Pat Olson is his,
Funds out looks
Let's see,
good.
what kind of guy see that?
Funds out looks
Oh, I've
good.
shown you the.
remember when Pat Olson ran for president?
Yeah.
He kinda reminds me a little bit of Pat Olson, doesn't
Yeah, I'm not gonna campaign though, I think I'm too old. I think there's an age limit.
What, how
No,
old are you?
there's not.
He's 75,
You're only a couple
Well,
years
you
older
know,
than Don.
and he did put my first name.
he? Yeah, but look at all that wisdom we're getting.
That's right.
Hey.
Wait a minute, let's stop right there. Bill. I don't wanna quell anything, but.
I've been through it all, nothing bothers me. It's
All
like
right.
water off a duck's back.
Okay.
No, everything's good.
Carl?
Nothing.
Okay. Alan?
Nothing.
Geez, it's gonna be a short meeting, keep taking on.
All right.
it.
I guess it's up to you, Derek.
Well, we already covered a little bit of airport zoning.
For the record, that was a joke,
Yeah, that
wasn't
was a
it?
joke, you're right, I've got myself in trouble with that
Put
before.
that in paper.
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk to Rob Howery tomorrow morning. He wanted a meeting, so I'm not sure what his status is. I hope that he's making more progress. I'm not exactly sure when he's gonna get that to us or what his hurdles are. We'll talk tomorrow about that. Paving. What's our status?
Sounds like somebody's gonna come look at it towards the end of this week, possibly start at the end of this week, early next week.
Did you take a look at that?
I will, no, I
Okay,
will.
and then we wanna make sure that that little drive between the,
Do you wanna be there, does Derek wanna come out and make sure that, instead of me, I mean, I'll be there too.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yes.
Rather than trust that I know what
Just
you're
let us-
talking about,
yes.
make sure.
yes,
Derek-
we need
I'll
to
give him a
all
holler.
be on the same page,
Yeah.
please.
So I'll give him a call when we start.
Right, and if you wanna give, I can always shoot down too.
It's up to you guys.
Make
Would
sure.
you rather I call you?
No, call Derek.
Will there be hard hats there for us to wear? The white hard hats?
Got a shovel.
I'll have my steel-toed flip-flops.
And
right.
and protective vests too.
That's right. And then I talked to John at Crispy Farm Center. He said as long as we can get that paperwork to him or have a vote on the tractor by the next county board meeting, I told him I'd run that down to him once we had it, but he said he was fine with that. So.
Right, and it is on the agenda, okay? And John let me know that also, so we're fine with that. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, budget-wise, we need to make some small decisions or big decisions, however we need to get the budget to bed fairly quickly. Don't forget that the tax sale is this Thursday, so, and we've got elections and everything's going on, so we need to make some decisions like on if we're gonna do an increase for our folks. We've already added the $10,000 back in. The levy already includes the changes that we made on that. And so I handed out a piece of paper showing, oh, I may not have given you this, I'm sorry, about how the insurance has affected some selected individuals. So we need to have everybody's feeling, I guess, about where we're at on the budget. We talked about a few things, so I'm not sure where we're at on it. I don't wanna just go ahead without having some feedback from you guys.
Well, I know if you go by social security, I think ours goes up $5 a month, doesn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah. That's before taxes. So it's not much, I don't think that's right for our employees.
Jeff, just kind of as a reminder, and maybe to restate also, whenever we went with the insurance packages, everybody who went with an HSA received what?
$100 per month on a quarterly payment. In fact, at this point, I'm not sure that everybody has set up their HSA account, but I know that a majority of them had, and that payment went out a couple weeks ago to their accounts. And as they, we're not doing it as they come in, but when we get a group of them, then Don does it electronically and places it in their accounts.
But
Okay?
basically, if you jump to HSA, you got $100.
Or if you were already in it.
Or if you were already in it. So all employees, is that safe to say, all employees who have an HSA now are receiving $100 a month dumped
That's-
into their
That's correct.
HSA account?
That's correct.
Then anybody who was not on an HSA account and are still taking insurance, did they receive anything?
Option one received nothing.
Okay, that's one we were trying to get rid of.
Option three, received or were paying an additional $50 a premium a month for them.
That
Okay?
was one I wasn't quite sure of, and I should know that, and I just want to make sure. Option three, option one, nothing. Okay, then if you don't take any insurance whatsoever, what did we do for those people?
Okay, as of this payroll, they're going to receive $750 for the previous year. Okay? Starting on October 1st, which is when it takes place, the renewal. Go ahead. Renewal, then they get $1,250. In other words, a year from now, they'll get $1,250. But up to this point, they'd accrued the $750 through the previous plan that ended on the 30th of September, okay? And then the new plan started October 1st, and so they will be eligible for the $1,250.
But their actual health insurance plan starts November 1.
No.
We were
October
paying.
1. October 1.
So it's not, it doesn't necessarily coincide with.
No, I know that part. Remember, we had it all set up October. Is this right? We're getting ready for property casualty.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what
So-
you're.
No, that's fine, ask.
Right. No, I mean, I should know that. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. So they were receiving, the no insurance at all was receiving what the previous, before the 750? Does anybody remember off the top? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, it's been $750 for a couple of years.
Right, I mean, I thought it was an oddball amount, 750.
Well, it
but now-
was because of that first year conversion,
Right,
and so there, but then it settled into just $750.
okay, that's what I had down. But now, but this part, the next part was the 1250,
Starts.
so there'll be like an additional $500 for it. So,
Right, so this coming year, they'll get an additional $500 towards their insurance. I mean,
And-
through their own personal, I mean,
Right.
for their opt-out. Additionally, we had been taking taxes out of that money, and Don and the accountant got all together, and they found that the taxes should not be taken out of that, and that they are being paid a lump sum, just like, it's being treated just like the $100 a month. They're not taxed on that. It's reportable, but it's not part of their income. It's a benefit, okay?
we probably don't have any figures on what that is, do we, on that total cost? That's
The $1,250?
the whole thing. The $100 a month, the
It's in the
$50 a
budget.
month.
It's $48,000 for that. It's in the budget.
I believe you, I'm just asking.
No, it's in the-
Because I know you know that better than
Right, it's,
anybody else. You're saying, so all that stuff, not the, with the additional, not that it's gonna make that much difference, but the additional 500 for the no insurance then, is that in there?
well, it was 21,000 in previous year's budget, and it's 25. Now, that's total amount. We get reimbursed from the health department and from the highway department, okay? Then your employee health insurance went from 339 to 328.5, but then again, that's total amount that's billed, and we get reimbursed from the other two departments. And then we've got HSA employer contributions of $48,000 in the budget, but again, we're being reimbursed from the other two departments. Those are total costs. So, okay?
You may have already heard this, there's a stupid question, but this is what they're paying?
That's what they were paying last year.
Okay, and then,
That's what they're currently paying. Now, on hers, you gotta see where the spouse, the reason that her big decrease is because she has a spouse. The increase for her spouse went up
okay.
significantly.
So why the difference this year compared to last year? I thought it went up 28% for health insurance premiums.
Well, but see, that accounts for her switching the account, the plan. You gotta look at the plans they're on.
About all of them, no, I see, okay.
you got apples
It
and
changed
apples on
plans.
2 of them,
Okay.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Yeah.
So it went to number 3 instead of 1, basically, or something
Right,
like
that, that could be it, or going from 1 to 2, or 3 to 2.
Okay, I see.
Any of those would
And-
cause a reduction.
And this includes the $100
Right.
HSA.
Yeah.
So there's only, I think, what, 1 that was higher?
Yeah, just noticed one
And that's a very small percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that's a
Yeah,
sample, but
right.
that's, how many employees do we have? And this is, quite honestly,
there. Yeah, I understand.
6 or 7.
Well, like, I think Augie has 2 in his office that are making less this year than they, or after the fact, than they were previously, so. And to,
And I guess on our 100, or our, what I call our budget, or not the whole thing.
Fund 100,
Yeah, on the 100, how much is this totally costing now? Just point, if you would point me to that, you say that's in the.
well, you gotta
Is that in
add
the
and
budget
subtract
also?
a little bit.
Okay,
hang
is that,
on.
which one is that on, which
Well,
budget
it's-
form are you on?
It'd be page 14.
Is this on the September, or the September 20th one? The original one, or,
Yeah, it'll be there,
okay.
hang on. Well, see, I can't, oh yeah, I can. Hang on. $38,500 more a year.
And that's out of our, it's our expenses in 100.
Yeah, that's how it's budgeted. That's this year versus last year. Just in looking at the raw figures. How it'll turn out, I'm not quite sure, but
Our revenue gonna increase for next year?
a little bit.
Just back to this briefly. So 3802 is, we went from option 1 to option 3, so.
Right.
So he's going from the Cadillac plan to the less, tricked out PPO.
Right.
So you'd think that would go down too. Is there a reason?
I can't tell you, I don't know. I'd have to get into each one of them individually. That's simply what their take-home pay is.
Wait a minute. This is their take-home pay?
Yeah,
Okay, that's not what I
Oh, I'm
understood you
sorry.
saying last time.
I'm sorry, that's,
I'm with you. So these are reversed. Okay. That would explain it. That answers my question. So
I
was
may have
incorrect with that.
misunderstood the question.
Okay. So this is monthly take-home pay?
Mm-mm,
2 weeks.
every 2 weeks.
Alright. So there is a drop. Okay. Gotcha.
I'm sorry, what did I say, it was it's 38.
38.5 is what.
Oh,
you
okay,
said.
good,
Like
I
that.
was thinking I said that wrong.
And I've got a question on our tax levy on the county portion of it. How much of an increase was there? On it, like 7 or 8%?
$7.6.
But when you count them all, we're under the 5%. When
That's
you
correct.
average it all out.
That's correct, Carl.
And what's the cost of living?
And Social Security, half of 1% or even less than that.
Less than 1%?
$5 a month, I think, increase for
So
Social
it's
Security.
less than 1%?
Oh, yeah. Way less than 1%,
Okay,
according to Social Security anyway.
right. But the person that's, the average person at the courthouse of the ladies working up there, roughly 25,000 will get a ballpark figure,
Maybe less.
less than that. So on the HSA, that's almost a 5% increase there
They won't look at
that
way.
we gave them.
Excuse me a second, while you're talking.
That's what I was looking at. We also have to keep in mind though that they're actually paying for that,
Right,
that
Part of
cost
it.
of the insurance.
part of it,
Yeah,
right.
right. And then, because that's what I was looking at too,
Yeah.
and then we're giving them that extra 100
Right,
on top of that. That's why I was trying to
right.
put all that together and figure out where that was at.
And of course, someone that's making 50,000, you know, it's only 2%.
So, worst case scenario on this sheet, 2204, taking home less $360 a month. Am I reading that right? So that's fairly substantial.
No,
Yeah.
where's that, which one are you looking
Well,
at?
top 2204.
Okay,
She's taking home $360 less a month than she was last year, correct? That's what Jeff was just saying. Those are actual take home. That's why I was confused before. So
Right.
that's, I mean, that's pretty serious.
That's good.
But that's because the spouse is on
Yeah,
there,
the spouse on
and big
there.
increase with
Went from
that.
no spouse to spouse, okay.
About $200 more for this.
And then the next one down, 3303, is 260 a month. So there was another ad there, I take it?
Children.
I got
If I'm
you,
looking
yeah.
at these right, see this up here?
And the children, looks like.
Added children,
I
or
don't know.
just the children made it that much worse?
Made it that much worse.
No,
If you
it
can
was
see
already
what
there.
the spouse, they
Okay.
were paying for a spouse before,
Right.
and then you can see what they're
They
now
paid.
paying for a spouse.
Yeah.
Okay. It went up substantially.
Mhm. Yep. Basically.
And that's the way they bid it.
For insurance.
And those numbers are broken down. That's actually what they're paying. So on the left-hand side, that's actually the premiums, correct?
Yeah,
This is premium.
that was the old premium, this is the new premium. That's the old premium, that's the new premium. Per payroll.
would you say the cost of living? Like 1.7%?
Yeah,
I don't even think it's that. It's less than 1% on
Says-
Social Security. I read some.
They said $5 a month
Says,
increase or something like that is the average.
2015 cost of living was 1.7,
Mhm.
slightly higher
Right.
than previous year of 1.5.
But they just came out in the last week about how much, if you were talking about social security, so what are you talking about, I think, Andy?
Yeah.
And I think
That's
they
what I'm
were
talking
gonna give you
Fine.
less, well, I'm just, not the dollar amount, but I mean, I
Right.
think it was like a 0.5 or a 0.3.
Right, 0.3.
Yeah, someplace,
So
someplace.
even though the cost of living increase.
Yeah, because that won't make up for how much more the Medicare
Right.
costs, you know?
So they won't cover the increased health costs.
No.
Just to review, a 1% increase to individuals that would be eligible for that, non-office holders, non-people in probation. 1% would equal about $6,700, 2% would be $13,400. That's $3,700 and $13,400.
And that's off of, again, the Fund 100, Jeff?
Yes.
But if we do that, aren't we also, I guess we're not, but are we also putting the other, like the highway department and the health department?
Well, they were
So-
planning on doing more than
Yes,
we're
they were.
planning
Yeah,
on doing.
and that's what I was wondering anyway, because I thought we got in a bind, especially out here, Mr. Aaron, you know, with, like, the differences, the amounts.
Yeah, because he was,
He was gonna get
not to
bonus.
speak, he was, no, I don't think you call them bonuses, do you?
No, I thought you said you were gonna get bonuses,
No,
not
no,
a percent.
no.
No, we'll talk about COLA versus
Okay.
merit
Okay.
a little bit, maybe.
I
So
misunderstood.
we're giving direction to the other departments, okay? So that's why we need to cogitate this.
So if we get 2%, it's 13,000, how's that gonna affect the budget then?
Well, it's gonna come off that one line that instead of 120,000 surplus, there's gonna be, 107 or 106. Everything we'll do will reduce this, not, I wouldn't call it a surplus.
Positive
No,
fund,
no,
it's called a positive fund balance.
Well, and it goes
So
to
in the year, it may not be
reducing,
a surplus.
reducing our overall debt.
Yeah.
It's a debt reduction amount.
So if we give a 2% pay increase, that's 15,000 out of Fund 100, but we've already, for the health insurance, gave the employees 38,000.
That's correct.
Problem is they don't look at that
Well,
unless you,
I understand that.
Part of the
It's-
problem is health insurance costs skyrocketed this year, so
Right.
you made up for it. So,
How will this affect, Jeff, are we still, this year, we're still paying on our IMRF debt? Did we pay more into that? We're about,
we're coming up, that reduction that we made last year and what we've been making monthly payments, it's dropped again to under $5,000.
Oh, yeah.
okay, that's
It's
what,
like
so we've been
$40-some
still making, I
$100.
haven't looked at it. Yeah.
Plus, we're gonna do a bulk payment here this coming month. The board will be presented with what we can make as far as a bulk payment and
When we're
further
trying to
reduce
Big
that.
program.
Right,
So we are, if I'm understanding you, then we're at a point where even our total amount that we owe is less than $5,000?
per month,
per month, that's
yeah.
per month.
Well, what I'm saying though is like at the end of this year, because we had, we were down, and I didn't know if we were still paying that. We're still paying that on a monthly basis to try to catch up with that. And I guess I was trying to figure out, it's probably in here, I can't find it someplace, where we were at, are we, by paying our $5,000 a month, are we pretty close to the break-even spot now, since we've been doing that for a year or so?
No. What we did, our payments were, what, 8,000?
Right.
And we knocked out the regular IMRF. So
Okay.
now we're just shifting over to the, I think it was the SLEP.
Yeah,
But because of our lump sum payments that we've been doing,
right.
they've lowered our payment plan, if you will, to under 5 now.
That 4,200.
Yeah, something like that. But we still have we still have a pile over here.
That's why I was curious about what's the
Well,
file.
that's
was.
a file.
Is it 307 or 370 or something? I can't. I looked.
I
it up.
wanted to say it was,
Well, go ahead.
no, I think it was around 400 or 500
Okay.
thousand.
Still?
But it may be lower than that. I'm trying to be,
I can't. But with our lump sums and our monthly payments,
it's really,
it's dropping. It used to be
Yeah.
almost 900,000.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
it's
that,
close
that's,
to a
I guess
million.
that's what I was curious about. We still are making our monthly payments.
Yes.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
still planning on making,
Yes.
when we start to settle things up here at the end of the year, we're still gonna try to
Right.
kick a little bit more in there, if nothing else, because that's,
It saves us
originally the idea was
7% a
7% on all
year.
that money.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And-
I'd
and
rather do
obviously-
that than.
obviously IMRF recognizes we're making our best effort because they're lowering our monthly requirements.
Which they
So-
should, because
which-
if we're paying that off, we should be saving that 7%
Exactly.
compounded on that money.
Yeah, so all in all, I think we're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And,
I
and
just wanna make
remember
sure we're still doing
that
that.
we were doing that before making a lump sum payment, before they ever came up with this payment plan.
That's right.
But they had a lot of agencies and they just treated us all the same, even though we were reducing that. It just, you know, it all worked out fine.
Why did the old board get away with doing that? I
You
mean,
know
it looked
what?
like they
What's
would-
past is past.
I know,
We're
but
dealing
still,
with it.
And they, I mean, I'm not saying one way or the other, but you know how many counties are still like that, Dan?
No.
Tons.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
We're in-
it's crazy. We've
Our
got,
underfunded is nothing compared to
That's
what
right.
some others are.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
thought we was
I
on
think it
one
was
like
like,
that.
Oh,
well, it's
no.
kinda like all of a sudden the state of Illinois said, oh, here we go, and then, you know, we found out 3 or 4 years ago what it was. Oh, by the way, you get to pay 7% on top of that,
Hmm.
which, you know, you can't really find any place money to make 7%.
No.
Well, Derek can find money to make
Yeah.
7%, but, you know, it's
Does it
like.
all the time.
Yeah.
Use my
It's
investment.
called the Bernie plan.
Not here,
So,
man, it's very
thank you,
complicated. I
thank you,
don't
Augie, thank you, Jeff, that's, I was wondering, I'm just, well, you
No,
gotta
no,
make sure that
that's
we're
fine.
paying that on
And we
monthlies,
are.
and at the end of the
We're
year,
gonna
we're still
see
trying
that.
to make like a little bit, a bite into that
Now,
too.
whether it'll be the first meeting on the 9th or whether it'll be the 30th, one way or the other, we're gonna get it approved.
Try to get that.
Or
So
try to
that's,
get it approved.
that's one of two, right? The other big one kind of hanging out there is the courthouse piece, right? Or something
No,
about,
it's, we've been,
Oh, the bell tower?
yeah.
Yeah, we've still got those bonds that we're making payments on and, you know, so.
Now, is that the one that it's basically our responsibility starts at a certain date and we're
Right.
basically pre-funding?
Halfway through the bond issue, then it's ours. Yes,
So are we on pace, ahead of the curve?
we're behind the
Behind the
curve
curve.
still.
Did we make
We made one,
payments? What's that?
we made one
One this year?
at this point. When we get closer, we'll take a look and see where we're at. And then present the board with the issue and see what they wanna do.
So we need to decide if we're gonna give the employees a raise.
And any other changes that you've had a chance to look at.
And what's everybody's position on the employee raises? Is there a consensus? It seems to me, just kind of with the numbers and just some gaps here, kind of along with my initial position was a 1% would pretty much catch everybody to the minimum of making sure no one's moving backwards this year. Just based on this, but
Given the fact that
that's all I'm there.
that we've given, I mean, we,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like we haven't
Right,
done anything at
it's
this
not,
point.
yeah, right, exactly. I guess I should work on my phrasing, but yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, so with the help we're giving on the insurance side, there's still a few people that don't have gaps, and so my idea would be none of our employees move backwards at all. So with some exceptions, and obviously people bringing in spouses or having these, you
Yeah,
know,
you can't
additions
use
too,
that.
we can't do that. But there are those that looks like it's still, there's some, a little bit of gap, so I mean, and 1% is, you know, seems reasonable with, you know, there is very small cost of living adjustments, so, you know, if we can do that, then that makes sense to me. Is there any caveats or things to think about with the 1%?
No, it's gonna reduce the,
The additional amount we put in the IMRF?
That's a problem for future generations.
Not gonna worry about that.
I just want to be popular now,
Yeah,
Alan.
oh, okay. Well, you know, that's maybe why we're about 350,000.
Nah, I'm sure something
Is,
else.
is this gonna send anybody to the moon if we do a 1% increase to our, is anybody got an issue with that we need to thrash out? Okay, that's done. And of course, Andy put in another 10 grand into your repair fund, cause we already discussed that. I made no changes to the sheriff's fund. We've increased the courts, we've accepted what they've given us, knowing that they have no control over certain things, we just do the best we can.
So can I just circle around right there? With where we are with the sheriff's deputies and things like that, things look good as far as into next year and the status quo we've established over the last year. That's all
But
working out for the most part.
what we will do is we're going to need a closed session here for a short period. We will, we had a committee meeting this morning on negotiations, on labor relations, and we'll impart that information to you at this point. We need to talk about a person that's changing categories, and I need to talk about that. What else do we have? Is there anything else? Oh, yes, there was one other thing. But I wanted to say before we got there that the issue on the box culvert out on, well, let's finish,
The other question was the jail. So is there any other major construction projects we're gonna have to do, or repair projects, I should say, that might change the overall picture? I know that's not, I'm looking at you, but that's kind of sort of not necessarily in your area, but I feel like you kind of.
Sort of kinda is.
That sort of kind of is, to use a technical term. So, you know, I know we've had some projects done out there. Are we kind of closing the loop on things that are gonna get us in trouble with the state as far as where? At the jail itself. Now, I understand that is a slippery slope and an issue, but, I mean, we can, you know.
the biggest issue, to answer your question directly, is that we included, and the sheriff has included an extra jailer in there, which will take a lot of pressure off. There is a substantial amount of money for projects in the jail, to, not only to deal with repairs, but maybe to be proactive. And can we guarantee that we're not gonna run afoul? Not totally, but we can always come up with plan B during the year if we have to.
When you're talking about extra money, is that just for things that come up, or is that for maybe starting to put money away towards a more,
I don't see us putting
solution?
seeing money
Much
put
money.
away. No, it'd just be for planned, being proactive as far as making repairs that need to be made, and then repairs that come up that we've got to make because we got no choice.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, is that,
Yeah.
no, we don't have a final, I'm not gonna say that. We do not have a long-term solution to that problem, okay?
Verify on the Crichton building, the, what it's worth, or
No, I have not. I was thinking about that the other day. We're expecting an appraisal, and it was supposed to be airlifted over the internet to Augie, and I haven't seen it yet either, so I will give him a call, but that's been over a month ago.
This guy in Charleston, right? The rookie
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
I saw a guy walking around and looking at it. I figured that was.
Was he wearing a ski mask or
they have a torch.
night and flashlight? I don't know, strange time to do it.
Yeah.
On building and grounds, is there 90,000?
Yes, there was 80.
Okay,
We kicked it back up to 90, Carl.
okay, good.
I guess I should have spent that last year. I was
Yeah,
trying,
you're sitting
Well, you
I was
kinda
trying
did
to
a-
watch what I was doing.
You did a pretty good job, actually.
there. Spending
No good, man.
Uh,
Keep it
Levy,
I was afraid that certain things were gonna be, well, they're still.
You may be
they're
gonna touch
plenty.
on this in the sheriff's department, but do we, and that may be a part of it, do we need to be more realistic in some of these specific categories? I mean, you know, like the differences of,
you mean in overtime?
well, yeah, the deputies, you know, that type of scenario, I don't know, you know, the overtime, right, and you say,
Yeah, but you
so we
added-
plan on an extra dispatcher, you say, so is that kind of,
That,
Figured
and
in
we're
there.
hoping, I mean, hoping against hope, we aren't dealing with the same issues on overtime. Again, the difference between administration and deputies is where he's got certain people. And so you see a discrepancy through this year, and hopefully we'll get the right people at the right place, okay? But that's a category.
Yeah, and
If
I
you
know
look
he's
at-
got the place,
if you
but I'm
look
just
at
saying
the
like,
totals.
right, but I'm saying, should we try to get closer on some of those, cause. What was the other one I had a question about, like on his food, again, I don't know if did he kinda go through and.
That's
I
his
talked
budget,
to
that's
Jeff.
not my budget.
This is his budget over here. Because the reality of that is that, I'm just curious. Okay.
It is something that we haven't gotten a handle on totally in 6 years, is it, Carl?
Well, and that's okay, because I was just.
We're
trying to
working
figure
on
out-
it. It's kind of like the pirate code, it's sort of a guideline.
Yeah, and that's what a budget is. I know you said that, Jeff. I like that. That's what the budget is.
It's just a
You're right.
guideline.
Yeah.
Well, you
Okay.
gotta, there was times when you didn't see a lot of humor in it, but
But the reality is, the budget, even though it's way over in some areas, the end result was pretty decent.
Right.
yeah.
Right. And that's,
And it, and the
With
sheriff's
the-
only in his second year. I
Right.
mean, and it's,
and I think we put a little bit more realism into it with the 2017 tentative proposed than what the 2016 was, just based on.
oh, we try to
what
get
had do.
better.
Yeah. That's,
Anything on the levy? Are we still okay with the change we made to the ambulance service? We're still okay with that?
Are they satisfied with it? I talked to Eric.
Seem to be. I mean, I
Okay,
called
you
them
seem
and
about
let
right.
them know what we were planning. It
Right.
wasn't carved in stone, and, I mean, they didn't say, oh, gosh, Jeff, thank you,
Right.
but they didn't,
I talked to you, seemed all right with it.
right? I mean, so. All right, the other item I had was on the box culvert on, Forest Brockton Road. The original estimates on that from the state and from us was $410,000. And it's now up to $687,000. Guys, I don't know. Well, remember we talked about, go ahead.
I was just curious, why is it? What is,
My only response can be that the consultant, the $410,000 number was from the consultant on January 28th. In September, the consultant said the box could go up to as high as $550. And then by October 14th, IDOT came back with their estimate and said, no, it's $687.5. And then we wanted to dispute that, and we're not able to, so. And when you say how come,
Yeah.
I can't answer that question.
okay. I mean,
Something we're gonna have to deal with. I wanted to make you aware of it, so in case somebody says something,
you told me,
yeah, so.
So is IDOT planning on paying a huge percentage of this then? Is that how that works?
We don't know at this point. We need to find out some information. I wanna make the board aware of it, or we do, so that we can proceed and cautiously, I don't think we should just automatically say, oh yeah, let's do this. I mean, we can do some shoring up and do a couple things if we ask our department to take care of that. I think that needs to be discussed. And we're gonna talk to you about that in a minute on a personnel issue.
Why would IDOT have the authority to say it's going from 400 to 600 when they're not gonna do the work anyway?
Because they're the ones that control the funds.
I know that.
That's.
But don't you,
But- Where's the funds come from?
That's what,
Yeah.
that's my question.
Well,
I guess, is it gonna be is that coming out of the money you got, or is that gonna be
It comes out of our federal allotment. I so that I can be, I hope I don't make Jeff mad here. I told DOT,
No.
I found out this news came to me. First of all, you know, remember back in January, we got surprised by this. Okay, or last fall, we got surprised, and we basically went to DOT and said, can you help us? Can you help us with this problem? We don't have the money for this, and they said, yes, we'll, Chapin Rose was involved, and
Okay.
they said, we'll find a way to program $410,000 that you don't have. I'm just gonna be more honest about this, okay? $410,000 that you don't have, which is very common. It's a
Right.
less than a year's allotment. They said, yes, we'll help you with that. Like the high school road intersection, for example, it happens all the time. So, back when it was a year's allotment, $410,000, we're like, that's great. Well, thank you, basically, thank you for letting us borrow another year's worth of allotment to build a box that caught us off guard. It's gone up every few months to the point that the new news, as of October 14th, which was what, last Friday? The response came back that IDOT's estimator versus the consultant's estimator, IDOT's estimator says it's gonna be 687.5. The consultant's estimator said the highest it could be would be 580 with contingencies, with a bunch of contingencies, 580. So I said, look, can we leave it at 580, and if it comes in over that, reject it? And they said no. And my response to the Department of Transportation Friday was I wanted to recommend to the board that we pull that box from the program and brace it. We have an approved bracing plan that we've already paid for too. We can brace it for $15,000 in material plus our cost. And we'll leave that project on the shelf, and, you know, if the capital plan comes, or,
What'd they say?
I told them I was gonna recommend it to the board today. So that's,
Will that
that's,
solve the problem?
yes.
Okay, well,
That's temporarily solving the problem.
Yes.
You're shoring it up, is what they said, correct, okay. So temporarily, what are you talking temporarily?
Yeah, originally I didn't want to spend any money on temporary, I wanted to,
Right.
but you're talking about $687,000 of federal money that,
So two individuals who this is their job goes out and look at the same site, and there's a 20% difference between the max and the actual.
yes.
I mean, don't they normally, don't they hire an engineer to design a structure normally? I mean, I guess I'm trying to figure out where that extra 200,000 comes in. I mean, you hire
I don't wanna point fingers, cause it's easy when.
Who's gonna do the
when
work?
You're not at fault.
well, we
you know,
don't know yet.
That's my point. I mean,
Well,
could be somebody.
we don't know.
Yeah, I
who will do the work.
I personally suspect, it doesn't matter what I think. I hate to say that, but it really doesn't. Here's what does matter is my recommendation to you guys that you pull this from the program. I'd highly encourage you to do that.
So what's the follow on there?
When you said, I'm sorry, we're all hitting you with 5,000 questions here.
Okay.
What, you said we already have a program that's been approved
It
to
was a
brace,
last minute addition, yes.
to brace it up, and that's been signed off, approved by
Yes.
all God's children at IDOT.
IDOT's
My favorite
position,
place.
we took a consultant, let's say day one, we found out there was a problem.
Okay.
Okay, I'm being hypothetical here. Day two, we grab a consultant and say, what are our options? This consultant on day three says, here's your 8 options. We pursue bracing first. We have a culvert next to a grain facility that's gonna be posted 12 tons. What can we quickly do so my board chairman doesn't call me and ask me what's going on down there? So we pursue bracing, spend some money on engineering for bracing. It gets approved at IDOT at the various levels to this point. As long as they'll seal the structural capabilities of that bracing, IDOT sees no problem with us bracing it. All the while, we continue to pursue a fix that you wouldn't tear out bracing that you put in the year before. And so we all have a good, strong vision of this. This isn't a couple 2x4s.
Has this been approved by IDOT? I guess
Yes.
that's what I'm asking. You came up with a plan, your consultant or their bureau came up with a plan that is, they can brace this thing up and
Yes,
be livable, and it's gonna be all right in, let's say, for lack of a better term, a more short term versus a more long term.
has IDOT
And
approved
has
that?
IDOT signed off on that and said, yes, we can do that?
I asked them through email last week if everyone's still, for Steve to get us up to date on that, and then I talked, who's my consultant, and I talked to Steve, and he said, again, you know, I don't have something written in blood, but yes, IDOT said that as long as the structural engineer is willing to stand behind the structural capabilities, that they had no problem with the bracing. So the answer to your question is yes.
And Steve is the private consultant that did the 410 to 580? Same
Yes,
guy?
HLR is a consultant that is probably one of the most popular in the state. They work from all corners of the state with multiple offices. I think they've got, 20 or 30 structural engineers. They eat, live, and sleep with the bridge office in Springfield.
Apparently they're on the outs. So what was Steve's take on IDOT's bid?
Steve's position with me, I guess, I gotta be careful, I don't want to be quoted.
Yeah, we're trying to resolve issues with IDOT.
So
Okay.
if this
Okay,
approved
we'll get into it.
$15,000 bracing is done, then the weight restrictions would be taken off
That's correct,
and it'd be back to normal,
that's correct.
normal traffic. And then you're thinking that if we do that, then maybe the state or someone comes through in the future, whenever that might be, to make a permanent.
I'm not gonna say the state will, I'm saying that us, this group, the local agency, is going to, we have a set of plans on the shelf, which is also highly encouraged, by the way. You should always have a small job and a large job on the shelf. It's one of the first things I learned when I came in as a county engineer, keep these things on the shelf. You will have a large project on the shelf if capital funding comes along, or if we choose, and we're going to save our federal money, we can make that a priority, the board could make that a priority a couple, 3, 4, 5 years from now.
If we decide to go with the 600 and some thousand, do you do the work or do the Harrison recommend do it?
No, we don't do the work.
That's my point.
So let me ask this question. So with the bracing done, that's us, right?
That is correct.
That's us doing that work.
Well, that's not positively yet, yes, we have every
That's
intention
a
of.
strong possibility.
Yeah, we may use someone to help with some fabricating or something.
So, and that will completely fix the issue for the near term, 10 years or less?
Yes,
Okay. And what's the timeline on that? So if everything lined up on our end,
we could have it braced in the same time that a contractor can have a new culvert built,
so I mean like actual date, like
by
say,
next fall.
by next fall. Okay, so the timeline really wouldn't shift dramatically from the
Just the
original
expansion
project.
funds.
We're not gonna get it done this year type thing. It's
Say
a
that
big
again,
enough
I'm
project.
sorry.
Just the amount of funds that we're committing to.
Absolutely, yeah,
Oh, no
but
question.
it's not something that we could knock out this year and save,
I don't wanna make
farmers
false
$1
promises. We
Run
have
into
to,
into construction.
Well, there's a lot of balls in the air with that, but hypothetically, it could be done before the end of the year, calendar year?
I doubt it.
Doubt it, okay.
You're heading into, your construction
It would
season's about
depend.
over.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of spring
Right.
we
Yeah,
got.
that's
Indian
true.
summer,
Yeah, we don't wanna mislead anybody. We would have it done, let's keep it apples to apples.
Yeah.
We'd have it done by the same
Okay.
time. that-
It wouldn't be any worse.
Yes.
How's that?
Okay.
fair enough.
That's no
I didn't mean to,
I think it
I
is.
just think you guys need to know what the heck's
Alright.
going on, okay?
All right.
All right.
So does the board
Now-
support that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just curious, one thing, we pay the entire amount on that, the 15, then, given
That's
that
correct.
scenario
With local dollars.
with local dollars.
And what was the price tag?
That was just to repair 15,000.
15,000
Short of-
material guys. Now, you're gonna have labor and equipment involved, but that's
Our equipment though.
our equipment, our labor involved. But
Okay.
we have quotes from LB Foster for the steel. It's pretty significant bracing.
Okay.
And it would be a very stout repair.
So do you have an
Okay.
actual overall total cost?
If I was gonna
Ballpark.
pay someone to do it, I'd think $100,000, but I don't think it's,
Okay.
we're
Okay.
not gonna,
And the state's fine at this point?
as far as I know.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
okay,
I
Okay.
think we're gonna find out more.
okay, right.
We, I think we've come to the end of the regular meeting. Can I have a motion that would cover negotiations, personnel, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll take the quick break. Did you have anybody you needed to talk to, Gary? Before-
Come on, man.
That'd be good. Part of the liberal media, right?
How did
I wanna
my
see
name get
that
on the
count.
ballot as a write-in? Hey,
Are we done?
You were,
I'll make a
well,
motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
how'd
You
my
have
name
to
get
say all
on?
opposed, I mean, you, aren't you the?
Can I have second first?
Oh,
Second.
yeah, since he left,
All
you
those-
can.
Yeah,
How'd my name get on the official ballot as a write-in?
okay.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Uh,
Opposed, same sign, we're adjourned.
Augie?